Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Joe Rogan Experience. Today, we have a very special guest joining us, all the way from Utah. He's known as the Malpais Legate, but his real name is Joshua Graham. Joshua, thanks for joining us.
It's my pleasure to be here, Joe. Thank you for having me.
Joshua, you have a fascinating story. You were a member of Caesar's Legion, an army that's known for its brutality. But then something happened, and you left the Legion and became a sort of a hero among the people of New Canaan. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, Joe. I was a high-ranking member of the Legion, but after my failed attack on Hoover Dam, I was burned alive and thrown down the Grand Canyon, left for dead. But I survived, and I made it to New Canaan. They helped me find a new purpose in life and gave me a chance to redeem myself.
That's amazing, yet sad. You were the Malpais Legate, a respected leader, and then became yet another respected man in New Canaan. What's it like to be a leader in such a dangerous world, and how's New Canaan doing?
It's a heavy burden, Joe, but it's also an honor to be able to help people and make a difference. I try to lead by example and show people that there's always hope, even in the darkest of times. Unfortunately, the Whitelegs have recently destroyed New Canaan. I advise any traders who hear this message to steer clear of the town. That means you, Alice McLafferty.
That's unfortunate, but you deliver a great message, Joshua. And speaking of the Whitelegs, what do you think of Caesar?
I have nothing but contempt for Caesar. He's a bastard who preaches about strength and honor, but in reality he's a cruel and manipulative dictator who cares only for his own power. He's responsible for countless atrocities, and he's brought nothing but pain and suffering to the people of the Mojave. Not only that, but he actively perpetuates slavery with his slave boys.
Slave boys?
Sorry, I meant slave girls.
Those are some strong words. Have you ever met Caesar face to face?
Yes, I have. And let me tell you, he's not the impressive figure that he makes himself out to be. He's a small-minded man with a twisted sense of morality. I'm glad that I left his legion and found a better path.
It sounds like you've been through a lot, Joshua, but you've also found a way to make a positive impact on the world. Do you have any advice for people who are struggling to find their own purpose?
Yes, Joe. My advice would be to never give up hope and seek God. No matter how dark things may seem, there's always a way to turn things around. Find something that you're passionate about and throw yourself into it. God is but one path, and don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it. We're all God's children and can accomplish great things together.
That's great advice, Joshua. Now, you mentioned earlier that you were a high-ranking member of Caesar's Legion. I'm sure our listeners are curious about one of the most notorious figures in the Legion, Legate Lanius. What can you tell us about him?
Ah, yes, Legate Lanius. He's a brutal warrior who's feared and respected by many in the Legion. He's a master of hand-to-hand combat and a skilled strategist. But he's also a man who's been consumed by his own rage and thirst for power. He's a dangerous foe to anyone who stands in his way.
It sounds like he's not someone you want to mess with.
No, he's not. Lanius is a force to be reckoned with. But I also know that he's not invincible. Every man has his weaknesses, and Lanius is no exception. If someone were to exploit those weaknesses, they might have a chance of defeating him.
Let's turn things around a bit and talk about herbal medicine. I've tried some healing powder, and that shit is the bomb. What can you tell us about natural medicine?
Natural medicine has been used for thousands of years to treat all kinds of ailments. The best part is that it doesn't rely on technology, which is ultimately good. There's also a certain psychedelic element to it, but I've only heard about it from recruit legionaries.
Isn't drug use forbidden by the Legion?
Yes, but to be honest, some of us don't give a shit.
That's fascinating. What are some examples of natural remedies that you've used?
Well, one of my favorites is yarrow. It's a plant that's been used for centuries to stop bleeding and promote healing. I've also used willow bark, which contains a natural form of aspirin, to relieve pain and reduce inflammation. And of course, there's healing powder, which is made from a combination of plants and minerals, and has a wide range of uses.
That's amazing. Have you ever done mushrooms?
Ha 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 ha. No, Joe, I haven't. As a former member of Caesar's Legion, drug use was strictly forbidden. Plus, I've always been more focused on achieving a higher state of consciousness through spiritual and meditative practices.
I hear you, but some people claim that psychedelic experiences can lead to profound spiritual insights.
Yes, I've heard that as well. And I'm certainly not here to judge anyone's experiences. But for me personally, I prefer to rely on my own inner resources to achieve a higher state of consciousness.
That's totally understandable, and it's great that you have found a path that works for you. Thanks for sharing your perspective, Joshua.
You're welcome, Joe. It's been a pleasure.
Are you tired of living in a world filled with chaos and danger? Do you long for a safe and secure future? Look no further than the Brotherhood of Steel. At the Brotherhood of Steel, we believe in the power of technology and the importance of preserving it for future generations. Our highly trained soldiers and knights are dedicated to keeping the wasteland safe from the dangers that threaten to destroy it, using the latest in military hardware and cutting-edge technology. But we're more than just a military organization. We're a family. We value loyalty, honor, and a commitment to the greater good, and we welcome anyone who shares those values to join our ranks, whether you're a skilled fighter, a talented engineer, or just someone who wants to make a difference. There's a place for you in the Brotherhood of Steel. So if you're ready to fight for a better future and protect the wasteland from those who would destroy it, come join the Brotherhood of Steel. Remember the Brotherhood of Steel for a safer tomorrow? And I know I probably shouldn't have accepted this sponsorship offer, but they paid up front and in caps. 15,000 caps to be specific. Sure, I could have just pocketed the money and burned their letter with this offer. But the Brotherhood of Steel is just so fucking cool. I'm not even fully talking about their power armor, which, don't get me wrong, is so dope. But even the way they carry themselves and act like they're Knights of the Round Table, it's so sick. Everything about them is just so dope. And I know I'm going to catch some heat from Karen at the NCR's public relations office, for saying all of this. I just can't resist. The viewers and listeners watch and listen to my show because I say it like it is. No bullshit, just pure, unaltered opinion. And some of you may not like what I have to say, and that's fine. Hell, some of you may even have had friends or family who served or maybe even died during the NCR and Brotherhood of Steel war. But the Brotherhood is undeniably cool. Everything from the power armor to their laser and plasma weaponry, the way that they treat themselves like Knights of the Round Table, the technology that they amass, it's all very cool. And you know what? I've got a small batch of some special vault-grown wild wasteland kush on me right now that I'm going to spark up in honor of the Brotherhood of Steel. Cheers, everyone, and thank you to the Brotherhood of Steel for sponsoring the Joe Rogan Experience. And a quick message to NCR PR. When I'm on air, you don't get to blow up my Pip-Boy or Jamie's Pip-Boy with messages like, "What are you doing? Stop this right now." And if you don't cut your broadcast, we'll shut you down. And my favorite of all of the messages you guys sent, we're sending an NCR tactical unit to shut down your podcast right now. You had your chance. Hope you enjoyed your 15 minutes of fame with the NCR. I'd like to see you come down here and try to shut us down. This is the Joe Rogan Experience, the new California Republic's #1 podcast. And we ain't going nowhere, motherfucker. So walk that tactical squad back to headquarters. Before me, Jamie, Mark Norman, Shane Gillis, and Ari Shafir start loading up our modified laser assault energy rifles. Me and the JRE crew don't play games. Karen.
Hail the People's Republic!